this is your girl Jen T, and I am in Studio B doing this week's Historic Movementers. Yay! So let's just hop right on into it. Today we will be talking about Carl Anderson. He is an amazing individual. He did a lot in his music career and also his acting career. So who is he, you may ask? Well, he played Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, the movie, and he also played it on Broadway as well. So without further ado, let's just hop right on into our top 5 amazing facts about Carl Anderson. So Carl Anderson was born Carlton Earl Anderson, and he was born in February 27, 1945. His parents were James and Alberta Anderson, and he was one of 12 children. They lived in Virginia, and he grew up with his family, kind of normal-like, but he had an amazing voice that he continually practiced and got into as he got older. So we're going to go into our second fact. Carl, I can't remember repeating his name because I'm trying to make sure I say it right. So Carl, he ended up going into the Air Force, and during his time there, he actually performed in the Worldwide Air Force Talent Contest, which he did very well. And he, went throughout his whole, Air Force career. He was honorably discharged, and after that, he went to Washington, D.C. This was during 1969, the Summer of Love, and he ended up joining the Second Eagle, I think it was called, just double checking my notes. Yep, the Second Eagle, and they played at, it was a music group. They played at jazz clubs, and they sang a lot of cover songs. One of them in particular was part of Jesus Christ Superstar, and before the Broadway play was produced, the music was out about the actual play. So they covered a lot of the songs, and somebody took interest in the group, and they ended up joining the cast of Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway. So that kind of leads into our third fact. During the early years of the production of Jesus Christ Superstar, Carl wasn't actually the lead for Judas on the Broadway play. He was actually the understudy. So obviously, if the actor can perform, so the understudy would take over. So that's kind of how it was in the beginning. However, when the movie was in production, which was in 1972-73, Carl ended up going and playing Judas, which is the Judas a lot of us knows from the movie rather than the play, which is quite interesting that he was the understudy and then did the movie, and pretty much most of us know him for doing that particular role. But then even after Jesus Christ Superstar of the movie, I have to separate the two, he ended up recording more music. He had a wealth of different albums, and Jesus Christ Superstar wasn't the only thing he had done. He had done that, and then he also was in The Color Purple. If I'm not mistaken, he played Pastor Samuel in The Color Purple, and he was also on Hill Street Blues, which is an awesome show. If you haven't seen it, definitely take a watch. I think it's on Prime, but he was in that as well. So definitely he was a very much, he was in a lot of different things, but I think the role of Judas and his music in that was what everybody remembers him for. So actually saying for this, let's get into our fourth fact. Carl, in 1994, he got married to his wife, Veronica Portia. So if you don't know who Veronica Portia is, if you haven't ever heard of her name, her last name is Ali. So she was actually the ex-wife of Muhammad Ali. But he got married with Veronica in 1994, and they actually stood married all the way up to his death, which was in 2004. And she stood by him through thick and thin. And also during this time, he joined the play again for Jesus Christ Superstar when they did their revival of it, which came out early 2000s. And he went back in and did the role of Judas, which was awesome. And he did that all the way up to 2003, where he had to leave because he was diagnosed with leukemia. And then that kind of goes into our fifth fact. Carl Anderson died on February 23rd, 2004, shy of his 58th birthday. A 59th birthday. He was 58 when he died. He passed away shortly before his 59th birthday. He was definitely one of those that a lot of people were shocked that he had passed. Apparently he didn't even know he was ill. He was in a car accident, if I'm not mistaken, and then when he went in, they found that he had leukemia as well. So it was a lot for him, but you know, he did the things that he loved, which was music. Music was his passion, and so he went in doing that, and he did that all the way to his death. And one of the things I like about Carl, you can actually see a lot of his interviews on YouTube. That's one of the things I've seen. And a lot of times when people ask him, you know, why did he play Judas for so long? And he was like, well, that was a role that he was a complex role that he was able to get in. And he kind of developed his faith in understanding a lot of the complexities of, you know, Christianity and things like that, and following an individual. And he saw these characters as people, you know? And even though a lot of people don't, you know, everybody's walk on their faith and in their life is different. So that is definitely something that he showed and he did. I'm sorry for rambling, but it was kind of interesting when I saw his interviews about it and about him playing Judas. I thought it was he said it better than I did. Trust me, he did. So I would definitely highly recommend watching it. I'll try to put a couple links at the bottom if I remember to put them down there. But that is it. So those are the facts, and I hope you take something away with it. And you know, as always, guys, stay tuned, stay alert, and remember, you are the movement. Take care.